Previously on Unranked.
You know what? It's actually a really important birthday because it's the birthday of the Unranked podcast, which we decided to also release on St. Patrick's Day a year ago today. So let's not keep the fans waiting. Episode 106. This is our 2-year anniversary. Happy fucking birthday, guys. 3 years of podcasting. We've made it. We are officially 3 years old. Hey, everyone, and happy 4 years of the Unranked podcast. That's right, We're here celebrating 4 years of the Unranked podcast.
Today, this episode comes out, and it is 5 years to the day of the original episode 1 of Unranked podcast coming out. What's up, Unranked podcast? It's the 315th episode of the show.
The arm on the back.
It's our 6th year of podcasting. It's our 6th year birthday.
So we've been doing this for 7 years.
Happy birthday. It's the 367th episode of the Unranked podcast.
It's just going to get longer every year.
God. I forgot that you did this for that. Oh, man.
Is this like from Dune? What is this?
It's fake Dune because he was at a...
Tom is responding to you from last
He
year.
is. He is.
Wait, what?
Wait, I'm sorry. What? What's happening?
That was trippy as fuck.
Oh my. Season 4, Saga 2.
Happy 8th anniversary to the Unranked
insane.
podcast. It is
Wow.
the what a
That one
episode
was
number.
2
It
years
is
ago.
the 420th episode of the
Hey.
Unranked podcast.
Wow.
It's just going to get longer every year.
What I love about that was not only did Tom respond to my past self, but my past self, in a way, responded to Tom,
Yes.
which was hilarious.
Yes.
Hilarious in the fact that today is the Unranked podcast birthday. We just passed it over the weekend, which means this is Series 9, Season 4, Saga 3, the final saga
The final
of
saga.
Season 4.
Oh,
Of
okay.
season 4.
Yes, the final saga. Sagas are years, you know. Like so, we
Sure.
got seasons are years.
He never gets
Sagas.
it right. Every time he tries to explain it. All right.
Yep.
Seasons
Yeah.
years.
Well, no, seasons are the series. Series are years. Seasons are the Pokemon generations,
deck,
and
yeah.
sagas are the years in between new seasons.
Oh.
It's a delineation between each.
I see.
So that's
Okay.
why. So like we started the first
Mm-hmm.
saga of season 4 in the summer. Then we had our birthday and it became the second saga. Now we have our birthday again and it's the third saga. But we will finish this season
Mm.
over this summer before we have another birthday. So this season will end with only 3 sagas. So in the
Makes
summer
sense,
we're going to
actually.
start
That's the first time I've ever understood it.
season 9. It'll still be it'll be a season 5, series 9, saga 1 in the summer.
Series 9, season 5. Yeah. Yes, correct. Yep. Got it. Clear as crystal.
All right. Which, although it is weird because it does mean we have like a series 0. We started at series 0.
Does it mean? Oh, you were frozen there.
You froze.
Well, we started at series 0 is what I
Oh,
realized.
that makes sense.
Oh, okay.
Because we're in our 10th year,
Right.
but that means we started at, so the show
It's
started
like
with
the
season
18th.
1, saga 1, series 0.
Right. It's like the first century, second century, 18th century
Yeah.
being.
For a time, they were counting up. Isn't that weird?
Counting up. Happy birthday. It's the 472nd episode of the podcast.
I'll let it go.
You know, it's funny because next year will be 10, which means that next year, that weekend we just had, we can just transfer it. We can just be like,
Yeah.
this is why we're in town.
That's
This
true.
is why, this is
Yeah.
why we get
Let's
together.
let's. Oh, I was gonna say let's get into it, but I forgot we have a Pokemon to do.
That's right. We do have Pokemon to do. Tom, you missed a great Pokemon last week, but we have, I think, a decent Pokemon
Yeah, decent.
this week. Look, it's not an EV evolution, right? You get two back-to-back bangers.
Oh,
No matter what you get
yes.
the following week, it's not going to be quite as good. But I think he's a good little poke. Today we have the evolution of a previous Pokemon, Gligar, from the second generation, which was good Pokemon design. Strange for it to have just a single generation, no evolutions originally. So they came back, popped one in, and we get
Opt one
Popped
in.
one in.
Tuna. How are you going to say this one? How are you going to butcher this one?
Gliscor.
I mean, that's not actually that bad. That's not that
Isn't
bad.
that what it's so this is isn't it
Shit, I
called
think that's
Gliscor?
actually how you say
Yeah.
it. So it'll be
It's a ground flying type Pokemon.
Gliscor.
All right. Gliscor is a large, mainly blue-purple vampire bat-like Pokemon, partially clad in insect-like carapace. Its legs have two toes and a slightly darker circular coloration on the underside, and its tail has two barbs, giving it the resemblance of vampire's fangs. I really like the color. I like the design. I like the vampire bat-like wings on this. I think this is a strong Pokemon.
Wow.
It's
Coming out of the gates.
well, just in general, I think it's a shame that this wasn't originally included with the Pokemon. You know, this should have been in Gen 2, this Pokemon.
I understand.
Got any fun facts for us, Toon?
Just maybe a combination of Glide and Scorpion.
That's it?
It's lighter than its pre-evolution.
Oh, that is interesting.
That is, it gets smaller.
Huh. Does it actually get smaller? Or is it just lighter?
Lighter.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah, I mean it's fine. I think it's a fine Pokemon. I'm not like hating on it.
No. No, they can't. Look, they can't all be at the top.
Right, they can't all be bangers.
Right. But
Thomas?
it's a solid Pokemon.
Yeah, I like it. It's better than its better than its original form. It brings like a menace, it's an upgrading thing where you're like, okay, this thing couldn't fight. Ground flying is an interesting combo. Like out of all the like Pokemon, this is one of the better ones, I think.
I agree.
So I don't think it's a slam dunk, but I do think that it's like a really solid. I mean, it's a fucking flying scorpion. Like that's pretty sweet.
That's pretty cool. I want to go ahead and say I really like its color variation for the shiny, going from sort of a purple bubblegum to like a electric blue. And I like the red turning into yellow. I think that's a good color combination change.
It also, like, if you go to the sprites, like, so this one is Diamond and Pearl. So Diamond and Pearl and Black and White have like a much more like vibrant color, and then like for some reason X and Y they changed that up. I am having a tough time, honestly. I see it a little bit in the original colors, but I'm having a tough time with the lighter. Like I can see it slightly. Like to me, it honestly just looks
with
like
your color blindness, it's not that
it
different.
just looks like a slightly lighter version of both colors.
Oh, I think it's a pretty big difference. Like it's like, and even the like
the
3D version,
from the home sprite, the Arceus and home versions are more noticeable. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, to me those seem more obvious, if anything. Like because it's sort of like a chewed purple bubblegum color, the original, and then you get this more like steel blue.
Computer enhanced.
Let's get a Pokedex. Legend Arceus says it glides soundlessly on pitch black wings and sinks sharp fangs into the throat of its prey. It takes on the look of satisfaction once it has entirely drained its prey of blood. Not bad.
Would love to see that in the games.
Yeah, I mean that would be sick. That would be sick. It'd be sick if it could like the third version should give it another evolution, just make it Dracula. You know,
I love novelty designs like that where it's like it doesn't make any sense. This thing is an animal. Why is it referencing this thing in pop culture? But it's those are really cool.
Yeah,
I would almost be like, remember the the owl, and it like becomes an archer.
Yeah. Yeah, that
Like,
one
if it
looked
had
pretty
that
cool.
Where it was cape, it has like a cape, but it's its
Yeah.
wing thing. Oh, that'd be sick.
Some of the bipedal Pokemon I don't mind when it makes sense. Like, if you're gonna do like a werewolf, if you're gonna do like, the mermaid made sense too, because like sirens and stuff like that. I think if they find a way to like,
Which Pokemon's the mermaid?
that was the same generation as the owls. The seal became,
Oh,
yeah,
okay. Yeah, I guess I never really looked at it that
yeah,
way.
it's like a siren.
Interesting. Sun
Um,
Moon, big
yeah,
blank spot for me.
good games. I think good games. Worst gimmick.
Which one was that?
That's the Z moves.
Z move.
Yeah.
Throw it in the
Most
trash.
potential for a great gimmick because
Yeah,
if
it could've
every
been cool.
Pokemon just had a move and it didn't require like this weird
Evolution,
fusion
yeah.
dance thing,
Yeah, it's
then like
stupid.
cool, everyone gets a special move into it.
Mhm.
But good idea, bad execution. What are you gonna do? All right, let's pop it on the list. Let's pull that bad boy up. Let's take a
Pop
look.
it on the list.
Glaceon Tom, top
Yeah, I saw
10.
10. I saw
Glaceon
10.
became the number 10.
I like it at 10. I think that's good.
I can't believe Leafeon up at 1. Good for Leafeon.
Yeah, it's fucking good. Above Lucario is crazy, but it's good. I think this thing is either in the teens or in the 20s.
Yeah, I was gonna suggest
Below Luxio.
the new 26.
Oh, okay.
That's
Behind Obama Snow, above Pachirisu. Yep, that's
Yeah.
real good.
I think it's a little bit cooler than another Pikachu-like, but it is another bat-like Pokemon, so it's not really that much better.
Yeah, we've had a couple of these guys at this point. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like 26. And like Obama Snow, like I'd rather have that guy. He's cool.
Yeah, that's a unique Pokemon.
Yeah. Cool.
Great. There we go. Number 26. It's in, it's on, and we can go forward. Tuna, what's been going on with Tom? You had your big
What's
weekend. Let's throw it over
been
yeah.
to you.
All right. You don't need to go to me. I got nothing to report
Nothing.
except just piggybacking on what Tom talks about.
Yeah, so it was the big double B weekend, birthday bachelor weekend,
It's true. It was.
which was really cool and awesome. And I mean, I'll just spoil it up front. One of the best weekends I've ever had in my life.
Wow, in your life.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like it just came. It also, I think, came at like just a really good
And
time.
you went to E3.
I would say one of the like
That was a joke. Fuck
we had
me.
I mean, to be
great
fair,
times
that
at
E3 weekend also banger top tier.
It was a bang.
Yeah.
Actually, it was a bang. The taxi cab ride that we got in, or the Uber ride that
If
you and
you
I
took the best moments from all the E3s we've done together,
right
you've
and
got-
mashed them together.
matched
Yeah.
them together. Yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah. All
Anyway.
right, fair enough.
So, you guys got that. We went to Charleston, South Carolina. For anyone that
Yeah,
doesn't
back it
know.
up. Let's start.
Yeah.
Let's start from the beginning.
Okay, so my best man went to college in Charleston, South Carolina, and he works in events for a living. And he worked in events down there, so I knew that he was connected, and I knew that he would be able to plan us a really good time if we went there. And I wanted to go somewhere that was, I was open to anything, but I thought it would be fun if it was new to everyone. Like it wasn't just like, oh, LA people come here, or we go to LA, we do something. I was like, South Carolina is really cool. So we've been planning it for a while. Basically, last Thursday, myself, my best man, and a good friend, and one of the groomsmen flew out from Newark, met up with another good friend of mine who came from New York by train. Got a little sleepy carriage. Got into Charleston at like 5 a.m., like 4 hours before we even got there, and was just like wandering the night on the beach. We were staying in Folly Beach, which is not. If you're from Charleston, you wouldn't necessarily call it Charleston, but it is the like beach area of Charleston, South Carolina. Very cool town. We got in. It has this place called Burt's that we would frequent all weekend. And
I like Burt's.
24/7. The tagline is, "We may doze, but we never close." They're open 24/7, 365 a year. Apparently, you
Mhm.
can find people like sleeping at the counter because some days, no one is there all night.
Sure.
So we get there. We basically hang out that first night. Two more friends join us, and we just basically go around the little beach town area. Basically, just hop from bar to bar, have food at each place. The food is like, I mean, you've got everything from like Southern barbecue to like hush puppies and other kind of like Southern food. Collard greens, obviously, very big there. So we were just like doing a little sample platter everywhere. And actually, but that's kind of all we did that night. Everyone was pretty exhausted, and obviously, like more people were coming than you. You two were the last two to come on Friday.
Yep.
So that was going to be the big night. So we didn't have an early night, but we didn't like rage or whatever. Next day, we basically spend a day on the beach, which was awesome. And Chris got in. Well, you got in that morning, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, I
we
landed at
were-
like 9:30,
we went to go get breakfast, and we got back, and you were already at the house. That's right.
which was ideal for me because I got the house to myself. I got to go shower, take my time, wake
Nice.
up. I Ubered Starbucks to the house.
Hell yeah. Yeah, because what for full disclosure, we were right on the beach. We had a huge beach house, fucking 8 bedrooms, most of which were pretty big.
Yeah.
Most of which had their own bathroom
Yeah.
shower combo even. And then we had a porch area, and then from the porch area on the back there was a walkway right onto the beach. And so we would honestly walk to Bert's by walking to the beach and then walking up the beach to this like pier, and that kind of marked where the little beach town was. It's not like a beach town that has a promenade or a boardwalk. It's just the beach, and there's the houses, and then there's like a 3x3 block radius of like little shops and places to eat and get drinks. Very, very cool. One of my favorite beach towns I've been to on the East Coast. So yeah, we get back, you're there, and yeah, we spend a day on the beach.
The
Tuna,
houses are on like 20-foot stilts
Yes.
because it floods enough
It's
where
below
you
sea level.
would. Yes, if I had a nickel every time you particular said that this was below sea level, I'd have about 25
Well,
cents.
because you'll be like, it's crazy
So-
how these things are up on stilts, and I'll be like,
But
well,
it is crazy
because
that they're
it's
up on
below
stilts.
sea
We're
level.
aware
How
that
do
it's
they
below
float?
sea level, but it's still crazy that it exists on stilts.
Hang on.
Whereas to me, it's crazy that it
Why
exists.
are there
But someone
houses
goes,
on
you know
stilts?
where we should build? We should build in a place that should
It's
be
insanity.
in the ocean.
Well, something else I learned about the town is because something that my best man Austin kept bringing up was that no building could be built taller than, except for some exceptions like the university, but no building in general could be built taller than any of the church steeples.
Yeah.
And then he would always put on the caveat. He's like, the other reason that is because this is built on a landfill. And there are parts of Charleston that are very swampy. Like I was surprised how like southern it was. It wasn't like like we are in
in the
like
name.
a
Yeah.
Jordan. I know.
It also smelled
know.
like butt in some areas.
Well, we are built. He did kept
Yeah.
saying this is a landfill that they just built a city on top, so you can't build too much. But yeah, the houses are all on the old stilts. So Tuna, were we digging the hole by the time you got there, or that hadn't? That
Yeah, the hole
process
was
hadn't happened yet?
very much
Yeah, it was
Done.
almost done.
almost done by the time I showed up. Basically, the boys had dug a circular trench with seats and a table
was a
that
big
we
circle,
used
a
for
big
all
ring.
of 20 minutes.
I
Ended
think
up
we were in
using.
there for like an hour. We did start late. We should have
Well,
started first.
Chris
thing.
Austin and I went to go get beer, and that was a longer trip than we thought it was going to take.
You want to explain that one?
What do you mean? We walked down the
Explain what
beach,
happened.
got a beer, got cases of beer, walked back. Chris's beer box broke, and Austin and I left him behind. And then
that
showed up,
sucked.
and Tom was like, "Oh, Chris is over there." I'm like, "Yeah, you want to help him?" So
He's like, you should go help him.
yeah,
And then I go down. Chris had been wearing a. Chris has been wearing this sun shirt. Is that what it's called, right? Instead of like having to, put sunscreen on, you just wear this like
Yeah, I'm the
thick,
only
breathable
one of you
fabric.
guys that didn't get sunburn.
I didn't get sunburned.
Yeah, but you got there
my
late,
back's looking
Alex.
good.
Fuck does
Anyway,
that?
it was
5
really
hours
it was
later.
funny because Chris had
Yeah, they
basically
were
been
in the
this-
sun for 5 hours.
Yeah,
Even if
that
I
you
was, I
weren't.
still had a shirt.
we
It's
cooked.
true, but
Austin was red as a lobster. It was
Oh
so
my God.
funny to watch, and
you guys were
so painful.
crispy.
So I go walk, and Chris had been in this sun shirt, this like light black hoodie all day, and I see him without it. He looked like
that's
he'd been
right,
mugged.
yeah.
I was like, "Why don't you have the shirt on?" And it was
Right.
because he'd like basically used it as like a bag because the
Yeah.
fucking beer can thing had completely fallen apart. It was really.
Yeah, I was carrying
it was really
sandwiches
funny.
and Oreos and beer in it.
Yeah, sandwiches and snacks and stuff. Oh, so good. So we hang out. We play.
Which I
some
had a
Smash.
bag, mind you. But the
Oh, you
problem
had a
was
bag
the
too.
Gatorades.
Yeah, but
The
the bag also
condensation
was
had
was
eaten through the
thinnest
bags. The bag tore
Oh,
through.
the paper
So
bag.
before
yeah.
my-
Paper bags were the thinnest paper
box.
bags I've ever seen.
yeah.
Yeah, before the box handle gave out from the condensation on the weight, the paper bags had given out. And so I had to ditch the paper bag and stick it in my shirt. So that had already happened. And then I went to catch up with them. So I tried to run. And on like the third step, the like jostling of running just made the handle give way on the beer.
Mhm. That's how. Yeah.
It was a funny sight. Tuna was less than helpful trying to find you because I was like, "Where is he?" He's like, "Hey, he's back there somewhere."
We didn't get shots.
He's the
though. We
only
should've.
guy. He's the only guy
get
carrying
shots.
beer, which we weren't apparently allowed to be doing. We were not allowed to be carrying
What-
beer on the beach like that. Number one.
You're
Number
not
two,
allowed
we
to
weren't
drink
allowed
it
to be
for
digging
sure.
that hole.
Well,
Okay.
we were able
Number
to dig
three.
to a certain
Number three, you
length.
weren't allowed to be
Or a certain
drinking
height.
on that
You
beach.
weren't allowed to be drinking.
So there's
So-
three. There's
so-
we were violating so many rules and
We
regulations
weren't
on that
violating
beach.
it. So here's this
Mr.
here's the deal.
Regulation over here.
What I was explained to later that night, because Folly Beach used to be an open carry your beer beach, not an open carry your gun beach. You used to be able to drink on the beach and have beer on the beach. But apparently one year, a couple of people really got into a fucking scrap, and like a crowd formed around them. The police showed up, and apparently one of the fucking coppers grabbed one of the people, pulled them aside, and pushed their face into the sand, and was suffocating them essentially in the sand. And someone threw a beer bottle at the cop, and then apparently a million, the whole inside the circle was showered with beer bottles. Apparently people got cut up, cops got hurt, and so now you can't drink on the beach. But
Right,
apparently
okay.
See, that's a poor
So-
lesson learned. They should have also just made it open carry guns because that would have been.
that would have put it. That
Yeah.
would have put it to bed.
So
yeah,
at one time, actually a few times, cops pulled up next
Not
to the
cops,
hole.
beach
Beach
bouncers.
There was
patrol.
okay, one guy
Was
that
a cop,
pulled up.
really?
Yeah,
Did you
it said
see
police.
the vest he had
It said
on?
police. Tom.
I didn't.
Not only did it say police, but the guy was kitted out. The guy had
Yeah,
a gun,
yeah.
spray, handcuffs. I think I saw a grenade. I mean, the guy was ready.
It's good
for
he
war.
didn't hear your accent, Tom. You might have been deported.
I know,
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
Good
Tom,
for
I,
you-
North
I was
Lake
telling Tom
shitting
he's
on
got to start
Trump.
working on his American accent.
No,
Good.
he's already on. Tom's on a list.
We're all on a list. Are you
Tom's
kidding me?
on the
We're
list.
all on a list. We're all
Yeah,
on a list.
I'm gonna be sent to the farm.
I know. Chris keeps I'm pleading the fifth on this. Anyway. So a cop showed up, I guess. We would Austin had said, he's like, you can only dig to a certain depth. That's why we were digging this ring where we could sit in like a couch, essentially, like a big circular couch, because it couldn't be so deep that a child could completely collapse on a kid. So we just kept getting told, make sure you fill it after you're done, which we did. But that was really fun. That was an absolute blast. We all took basically dive bombs into the ocean. I don't think Tuna did. Did you?
No.
It was fucking freezing, but we did it.
Yeah.
And
Honestly, it was
then-
nice when I ran into the water.
Yeah.
And then the debauchery started.
Well, do you want to take it?
No,
What happened
no.
after the
I mean, look,
beach?
all that I'll say is that we had a excellent time going out to the what was that place called? The Royal something.
The Royal
Royal
American.
American.
The Royal American. The
In
food was very
downtown
good. The
Charleston.
wings in this like lime,
Oh my god.
salty dusting that they got going on there was amazing.
Crunchy as all could
fucking,
be.
flavorful as fuck.
Yeah.
I think I did more shots that night than I've done in a very long time.
Yeah,
You were gone.
You were a lot more
And,
drunk than I've seen you in a very long time.
It was the most
Yeah.
drunk I've ever seen you, which was very fun.
No,
not
I was
like-
definitely more drunk at that thing we went to at the Play New York City thing, the
Yeah,
after
okay.
party. I was very drunk at that.
Somehow I was drunker that night too, so I don't remember it as well.
Okay,
but I was
that
a little
night
bit more
was
together.
woo, okay.
I think so that balanced it out with
But
other
yeah, this one was
substances.
had a lot of fun though. I had a ton of fun.
Yeah.
The people there were cool.
That
They
music
talk
was
about
good
the
there.
Southern hospitality thing, and it really is there.
Yeah.
Really is a thing.
And it's cool because it's one of the kind of more liberal places in the South. So everyone there. In fact, I almost got like a slap or something
What are you talking
because
about?
we met up. We met up with, like I said, Austin was from there, so he had a lot of friends. We met this guy who has a chef and he owns a restaurant that we ended up going the next night. Which
Oh
we'll
my
talk
god,
about.
that food was incredible.
Very, very excited to talk about that. But we met up with a bunch of people, and it was a mutual friend of me and his birthday as well. So we kind of joined forces, and she had a friend. And I wasn't there when you told her. She was interrogating people about who voted for Trump or
So we
something.
were talking to her, right? We were as a group, and she
Yeah.
was like before, because she didn't want to like chat with us if we were assholes. She was like none of you guys like Donald. We were like, no, fuck no.
Yeah.
And then Elon Musk, and I was like, no. I was like, and then I just said to her, I was like, well, Tom owns a Cybertruck, and that's all I had to say.
2 seconds
She was like,
later,
who? And then I pointed at you and I said, Tom
and then
owns
she
a
was in my
Cybertruck.
face, and she was like, you own a fucking Cybertruck? I was like,
Tom, she
what do you
beelined for you.
beeline?
Actually,
She
Tom,
beelined.
there's
She
a
was
recall.
ready to castrate me right
There's
there
a
and
recall on Cybertruck.
then. I
so
know. I got
Yeah,
a
you
call.
should
I
get-
got
you should
I got
turn yours
I got a
in.
call.
You should turn yours in. Yeah,
Oh my god! So she was.
I like this new joke that Tom has a Cybertruck.
I
Yeah,
mean,
it's great. I'm gonna keep
Yeah.
this going for years.
No,
I'm gonna
never
start
give
saying
this
this.
up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna start saying this at your wedding.
I'm
Yeah.
so happy to hear that. So she came and beeline to me and was like, "You own a fucking Cybertruck?" So yeah, we did massive shots.
You didn't know what was happening.
I
No,
didn't
you know what was
was
interesting?
happening. I don't
She
know
was
why
screaming at
confronted
Tom
me.
in the
Yeah.
middle of the bar. She was
Yeah.
screaming at Tom, and Tom was like, just really confused as to what was happening.
Well, the other thing kept happening because people kept like wanting and or needing to speak with me.
Yeah.
So everyone.
Well,
kept
you're like the
tapping me on
Godfather.
I
Yeah, you're like
know.
the guy, the man of the
I
hour.
was like, who's in plan? So like Kenny was tapping on my shoulder. He was like, what's the plan? Are we staying here? Someone else. And then I guess Chris kept pretending that
I'm a
Tuna
troublemaker.
was tapping me. What was happening? You explained to me that you were pretending it was Tuna or something.
Tuna
don't know,
and I
Chris
were
was
behind
fucking
you.
around. I was
Yeah.
just.
I was on your right.
really doing
Doing
it.
I was on your
shots.
left. Tuna's on your right. So I tapped on your right shoulder. You turn around and look at Alex. Alex just doesn't say anything to you. You're like, what?
Yeah.
And Alex is
Yeah.
like, nothing.
Yeah.
So then I did it again. But then Alex moved out of the way, and then I just took Alex's spot.
It was so fun because he did it like I think he did it a couple of times because
Oh,
it
yeah.
was a thing of like someone was tapping me here. It was like, oh, what is this? Someone was tapping, like it kept being a thing, and I was like, oh my god, I keep having to answer, and I kept turning around to Tuna because I thought Tuna kept tapping me on the shoulder and was fucking with me,
No,
and then
I
I
was-
turned around
I
the
was
third time, and Tuna is
drunk at this
gone, and
point.
Chris is just standing there, big fucking grin on his face, and I collapsed on the spot.
You did. You fell straight down.
My legs gave out. It was so funny because just Chris being there, but I thinking it was gonna be Tuna. It was almost like he had vanished into thin air, and like I had been making it up. He was like a Tyler Durden in my head, and like Tuna never existed. It's always been you or whatever, and so that was really funny.
You know what's funny too? I spoke to. I'm sure you did too, but we spoke to so many locals.
Yeah.
That we realized that most of the people there work for 3 companies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mainly 3 companies. Boeing and 2 other ones that I can't remember.
Yeah.
But
The catering company.
Something, yeah.
They were all friends through the catering company, but yeah, it was
Yeah, but even when I
Boeing,
spoke
there's
to them, they
another,
were like, yeah,
data
there's really
center
only,
or something.
yeah,
Yeah.
The hospital.
Oh,
yeah,
the hospital. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because I would say for the most part prosperous town, but yeah, it is built on the back of like a
Slaves.
couple of
Slaves.
well, that originally, sure, and then also like this modern slavery that we all live under right now. But so we're there, we're doing fucking crazy amounts of shots, eating good food, music was great. There's a band called Wilmot, who's the second band. That was the band we saw, Chris. I've just been listening to that music all week. I kind of really dig it. If you like kind of like indie pop, like a fucking a Young the Giant or like a Two Door Cinema Club, that kind of vibe.
Yeah, they were
Very
good.
cool. We played the finger game. That was how we kind
We
of
did.
ended this night.
Yep.
We
Yep.
did.
That was really fun. And then went back. I think we played some Smash and went to bed. That was
Oh,
the
yeah, we
Friday.
went to-
Oh
Smash.
man, 8-player smash.
Eight-player
What a
Smash
time.
was amazing. 8-player Smash was a lot of fun.
8-player smash rules.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
played a bunch of those over the weekend. We
Oh,
played
big
some
time.
Mario Party at different points as well, which was fun. And then when it came Saturday, which was the kind of like the big day, we first went
Dude,
to
my feet killing me by the end of this goddamn day. I mean, we left at 10:45. Ubers were leaving at 10:45.
yeah.
Saturday
We got
morning.
back at
I was
2
still.
a.m..
I think I was still a little
drunk
drunk.
from the night before.
Yeah, I feel like we
remember
did it
Sure I
backwards.
was.
Friday should have been Saturday. Saturday should have been Friday. Like the day where we spend a lot of the day at the beach house should have been
the last big
yeah,
day,
the second day, not the first. Doing the day of walking around the city.
It just would have been tough because
Tom,
it
I
would
had
have been
23,000 steps that day.
We all did then.
Fuck yeah.
Like that's
I
nuts.
mean, it would have been a little bit more
Well,
complicated.
you weren't on the
'cause,
dance
like,
floor as much.
Tuna.
Oh my god, I wasn't on the
that
dance
was-
floor for like an hour. First of all,
I messaged that photographer. He's sending the
Yeah,
I'm
we need
aware.
those.
I clocked
Yeah.
that. I saw you doing that, by the way.
yeah, as if I was trying to be fucking.
Well, you were in the
super
corner,
spy.
like whispering, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
Well, I was.
Anyway, we're not even there yet. We're not even
Okay.
there. So I mean,
It would have been
Saturday.
tough to do this day though.
I don't
When
care.
it was the
He's
day
the one.
you guys
he's,
were getting
he's,
in.
he's talking about it. Who cares? So Saturday, we get to Fort Sumter. We take a nice little ferry out there. Fort Sumter, famously, where the first shots of the Civil War were fired.
Yeah,
it was a really cool fort. We saw
regale-
about 10% of that fort because it had been largely
to hell.
destroyed
Yeah.
during the war.
Yeah.
And the other thing that was sad is that when we spoke to one of the parks people there, National Park Association, he said that, with the new administration, there's a 30% cut in payroll and they're uncertain of, people's jobs there, which really sucks.
Yeah,
So,
super sick. Yeah, because
know.
it was such a cool, and they were like super. He was super funny.
Yep.
And
He
like,
took a selfie with us.
Biggest
He took a-
cannon of the
yeah.
Civil War was also there. We could see it. It was
What
very
were
cool.
some other good facts? Yeah, so it was the first place that
You could send a battalion of like 20 guys with modern weapons back and just take over. Like that's all they
change
have.
the
Like you
course
give
of history.
you get 24 guys today kitted out with the best gear we got. That's all. They win.
Mhm.
They win.
Yeah.
Like that's the biggest cannon of the war. No problem.
Yeah.
Just one drone.
Yeah. One drone.
I mean,
Obama's got him in the corner.
no, it was a good time. What other? I mean, Fort Sum, great fort,
Yeah. It's
Great
really
thought.
something.
and then nice, and then we.
Potted. We went to a dive bar.
Oh yeah, the
The
dive bar.
dive
That was
bar
good.
is where I felt the most exhausted and was like, I don't know how I'm gonna make it through today.
Yep.
I
Yeah.
felt like that was the kind of like peak of that. Had a
That's
good-
why
good
I didn't
sandwich,
drink.
though.
I
Had
got
that good
Coke.
turkey sandwich.
I had
Yes.
3 Coca-Colas there, Tom.
Fuck yeah.
I got the Coke. So all of you guys got drinks, right? I got the
I
Coke,
was
and
drinking
she
beer,
comes
yeah.
over to me. She goes, "You want any refills? Just bring it back up to me." So I'm like,
Yeah.
she probably was just like, "Oh, this guy's the DD today because it's St. Patrick's Day."
Right.
You know?
That was St. Patrick's Day weekend. Yeah.
Yeah, we were the only group, I think, out in South Carolina not wearing green
Yep.
and not celebrating St. Patty's
Yep.
that day.
Played some pool there, hung out in the backyard. Then we went to a hotel bar,
Good onion
which
rings.
is
we also saw bees
the
fighting.
food that was good. Yeah, we saw some bees fighting. That one we were sitting out back was the most like everyone is just like taking a second.
That's when I was looking at Tuna. I
Yes.
said to Tuna, I'm like, what? I was like, we should just go home. It's like,
Oh,
time to go
dude,
back
I
to
was-
the house. Everyone's wiped. What are we
Yep.
doing?
And we just kept walking. So, and we just kept, I mean, I had just like a steady buzz throughout the rest of the day.
We went to the hotel bar next with the
Right.
next to the pool, which is
Oh,
where
the
I got
palm
my
tree.
second wind. That was really nice there.
Yeah. But then we played a game called Ninja. I don't know.
Well, no,
Chris,
no.
If you, what?
One of the most interesting things of the weekend happened there. So Tuna, I, and Oslo, we were at the corner of the bar.
Oh yeah.
So we were just having a three-way chat over there. And there's this small pool
Three-way
there.
chat.
And we were trying to figure out how many people are allowed in that pool.
Okay.
Did you see the size of that pool, Tom?
It was small.
It was interesting. It's like the
didn't
smallest
really
pool
look
I've
at
ever
it too
seen at a
much.
hotel.
Got it. Okay.
It ended with like looking up the municipal.
Yeah, you can't bring this up now without going through the thing now. Chris,
Well, because-
okay, so Oz says, I think either Chris or Oz, I forget who. Maybe it was Chris, but it was like how many people could be in that pool, or maybe Oz said it because there's probably some limitations on it by the fire department or the city or
Right.
whatever. So Chris goes up and looks up South Carolina or Charleston code and looks up there is a limit on how many people can be in a public pool like that. Or not in a public pool, but a pool like that.
Mhm.
And it's like one for every, in a shallow end, one every 10 square feet can be in the pool. So then, but the pool is kind of shaped like a trapezoid and not really.
It's not a square, not a
It's
rectangle.
not a square. It's not a triangle. It's not. So Chris is like, oh, how do we figure this out? Because we're trying. Oz thinks it's a lower number. Chris thinks it's a higher number. So then Chris goes on Google Maps and finds the aerial view of the pool, and then like Chris is also trying to figure out the length. Yeah, so Chris is also trying to figure out the length based on the length of the stone that are also.
So you can see,
surrounding the pool.
I was able to get the size of it, right? So I was able to get the dimensions, the rough dimensions, and then made it into a rectangle. So then I just had to get the area of the triangle that it's not. Remove that. 390 square feet, 39 people. There you go.
Wow.
There it is.
That's great.
Which, by the
math.
way, he sent that text after the vacation was over.
Yes.
Well,
And
no, I
said
said, yeah. While I was waiting for my many planes.
Right, I was already home.
As many.
I was already home
planes.
by this point.
As
Oz is like probably
as
on the train going
many
home.
Planes.
Yeah.
Your trip home, even though Oslo
Wait, let's just hold on.
We'll
Let's
get there.
just
We'll get
we'll
there.
get there,
We'll
but
get
I
there.
guess we could just sum up with Spirit sucks, but they're willing to fly you home
They're willing in whatever
weather. Don't worry about it. Turbulence,
delays,
fuck
no
it. I don't care.
Yeah.
High winds, forget it.
So that was the bar where I at least got my second wind, and then we went out to one more place before dinner, or did we go
No, we
to
got
the
French
park?
macaroons and French chocolates.
Oh yeah, we
Oh, those
walked-
chocolates are good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so was my
chocolate-
beignet.
chocolate cigar, like this. It was
Yeah.
shaped like a cigar. It was like crunchy chocolate, and then like a mousse filling on the inside. That was great. Macaroon.
Oh, we all got something different.
macarons.
You got the cigar, you got the macaroons, I got the beignet
Mhm.
and the chocolates.
That's right, sir.
Anyone get
Then we
ice
went-
cream?
Then we went to the park.
Not that night. The night before, I had gotten ice cream at a
Okay.
beach place on the Thursday night. Yeah, which is very good place.
All right, let's get to the park because this is where Chris really had like this epiphany, this experience now. that
I mean, I
he
feel like
is-
everyone
think we
had as
did.
much fun as I did.
No, we
100%.
did, but when we were walking away from the park, you had already clocked it as the best thing we did all weekend. That
Oh
was
yeah,
the best thing.
honestly, I still think that. In fact, I've thought about it every day.
All right, so let's
We all
explain
have it, clearly.
what is happening. So Austin, we get to the park. We're walking around the park, and Austin, I think Austin says, well, there were fucking 3 Austins on this trip, but
Yeah, Prime.
so Prime says, let's play Ninja. They all know what Ninja is except Chris and me. And I think maybe did we just miss out? Are we just like a little because we're a
Okay,
little older?
so that, I think
What's
it
the
must be
situation
regional,
here?
Alex, because I
Oh,
asked
regional thing?
people at dodgeball last night, and
Yeah,
no
they
one
heard of
knew
Ninja.
what Ninja was.
Yeah, I think it's an
However,
East Coast
several
thing.
people are very interested in playing Ninja.
Yeah, I mean it's a good. So just explain, give the high level. Let's not get into the gritty. Just get into the. So do
Tom.
you want to? I would. I was
Oh,
going to
sure.
give it
Well,
to you since you're.
we played it at college. So it's I think it's the important thing to say is as well as like this bachelor party is composed of little groups of people that know each other, but not everyone. It's not like it was you two and then everyone else knew each other. Like that group also was segmented, but we had played. Some of us played Ninja in college together because we lived. Our apartment was or the house we were renting was very close to our college's like park on the waterfront. So we would just go there in the summer and play. And then I guess like Austin had played as well. And yeah, it's essentially you stand in a circle. Although Chris has got some ideas, we'll get to those.
We'll get to that.
Well, you stand in a circle. You put your hands together in like a clap, and then you point your fingers first into the center. So you're like forming a wheel. And then on the count of 3, everyone takes a step backwards away from everyone else and forms a quote unquote ninja pose, right? So it can be anything. 2 hands up front, a hand behind you, ready to chop, a hand up in the air, all this stuff. And then one by one, you go in a circle. And the goal is you're aiming for another player's hands, and you can do one singular motion. And so you can go for the hand, but they also can try to dodge the attack as well. If you hit a hand, that hand is out. That person isn't out until both hands, so they can still like fight and defend the other hand. But once both hands are out, you're out. And then you just kind of keep going until only one person lasts. And we played a couple of games on this. It was like a little park, grassy area overlooking the water. Plenty of people around us. And we had an absolute blast. And even
It was sick.
some of Austin's friends who had come up over the weekend, a bunch of his friends had come out to meet us, but a couple of them even joined us in playing, which was fun.
Which was what was funny was there were people walking by in the park that I heard being like, "Oh, are they playing Ninja?" And I'm like, "What the fuck? How does everyone know what this game is?"
So thoughts on the Ninja time?
Yeah, it was a great time. I wish I was just in better shape. That's all I gotta say.
He wasn't in ninja shape.
Not in
He
ninja
Wasn't in
shape,
ninja
baby.
shape. I mean, we have to play at the wedding, whether it's the day before,
gonna
the day
happen.
of,
It's gonna happen.
during the
Oh,
wedding,
buddy.
after the wedding.
The
I've already got-
photographer,
I've already
though.
got an
Photographer, I
approval.
love that.
Already gotten approval. There's a video that's been shot that is very good of it that maybe this audience will see in the future. But yeah, we had a blast there. And then we went to a place called the Peacock, which was near there for dinner. And that was the restaurant of
Oh my god,
this guy
Great
Matt,
food.
who is a friend.
great food.
The catering company that Austin and all his friends had worked for. This guy had been the executive chef at that, and now he owned a restaurant / bar / club. And just phenomenal food. They sent us a bunch of appetizers. What did we all? What did
We went
have?
over. We went over
Whole
how to
bunch of
drink
stuff.
wine, which it looked like I was making
Oh,
stuff up.
yes.
But then Alex, the one tip that I was like, kind of a lot of this is bullshit. But there's one true thing about like drinking wine that I appreciate that you actually tried it. That you were like, you were probably like, this is bullshit. But then you tried
No,
it
I believed you on that. That sounded legit.
because
You
Tom,
take a
Alex
sip first.
Yep.
Because it is true. When you take a sip of wine, it's like, oh, this is kind of like burning. Sucks. Take a sip of wine, get it in, wait a bit, like a second or two, and then your next swig, smooth as fuck.
It's
It was
sit, wait, drink.
Tom doesn't
these
seem
were two
convinced,
of the best glasses of wine I'd ever had, simply because they were like, I think one was like $100 bottle and the other was like 150 or something.
Yeah,
Thank God.
I mean, you were also like
Yeah.
smoking, drinking, and like
yeah.
on mushrooms. So like you were,
we've
you were
been,
also
we've been doing microdosing this mushroom chocolate all day, which was so good.
It was day 3 of celebrating you. I mean, it's probably several reasons
cloud
why.
nine, cloud nine, man,
Yeah.
cloud fucking.
That
nine.
being said, the
Also,
wine was great.
no kind of very few looking at the phone moments. Because
Oh,
every
yeah.
time any of us looked at the phone, we were like, "Put that shit down. We're
Yeah.
living in this bubble. It's great." Except for when we went to the the Fort Sumter, and they were like, yes, 3 people were fired the day of the inauguration or whatever. Anyway, we're at dinner. Phenomenal food. What did we have? We had the there was like this kind of like there was like green beans, like this Asian style green beans, which was his. I had spoken to the chef the night before, and he said like the first restaurant that ever gave him a job was this like real Asian kitchen in South Carolina, like the only Asian restaurant in town at the time, and it was kind of inspired by that. Those were incredible.
The fried tomatoes.
Oh, the green fried tomatoes were incredible. Yeah, it was excellent dinner.
What'd you guys get? I got the poke, which was fucking awesome.
The poke bowl, yes.
I got
yes,
a chicken
me
sandy,
too.
fried chicken sandy, amazing.
Yeah, the poke bowl was phenomenal.
And then
I like that they had upscale chicken tenders.
Yeah, I forget who got those, but they
Kenny.
were just
Kenny.
They were just chicken tenders. They were good.
And fries.
Yeah.
Like a
The
child.
chicken cutlet I'd had the night before was essentially that.
Like what I order for my daughter when we go out to a restaurant.
Yep.
Say, hi, do you have chicken and fries? Yes. Great.
Yep. That'll be it. And then we went upstairs. We're on the roof for a bit before heading to the club. And the club was a mixed bag because the DJ was bad.
DJs. There were like 4 DJs.
Oh, we forgot. Alex and I ran into someone that we went to high school with, but we didn't actually say hi to him because we weren't sure.
I wasn't sure.
The guy
and
we
I
thought
only
it
got
was.
confirmation later that night that it was him.
By like 10 minutes. If you had gotten that confirmation earlier, I would have walked right up to him.
Yeah, no. So we walked into that rooftop bar, and I in the corner of my eye, I'm like, I know that guy. Like we definitely went to high school with that guy. I thought his name was Dan. It wasn't. Different name. But I snuck a picture and sent it to I sent it to one of our friends back home, and I said, "Who is this? I'm pretty sure this is someone we know." And Chris tried to do a covert op with Oslo. And walk by him, walk by the guy that we thought we don't throw it out.
My concept was because Alex wasn't sure what the guys. You thought it was that or another name as well. Neither were correct or close. So I was like, well, saying his name isn't going to work, right? And we don't know what his name is, so I can't go over to him and say that. So my other plan was to just say the name of the town and the high school we went to very loudly near him and see if he perks up.
He didn't.
Covert ops.
Yeah. So I had Alex watching him while Oz and I walked by, and I had Oz in between me and him, so I could be facing Oz, so it's going in his direction.
Yeah.
No reaction though.
I mean, I don't think I would necessarily react either.
I feel like you might perk up. There might be a eye look.
That was the idea, but it didn't happen. But then our friend, who after I had snuck the picture and sent it to him, 10 minutes later after we had left the bar, texted me saying, "That's such and such name." And I was like, "That is," and it clicked for me, and I was like, "Fuck, that was him." So
there you go.
Well, we went downstairs. We were in the club area. The DJs, for the most part, poor. It was
not good. Not good DJ.
Yeah.
Bad DJ.
I was still in a good. I mean, everyone was still in a good mood, and I liked the fact that it wasn't overly crowded. There were people in there. There was energy, but like we could have our own space and we could just hang out, which was nice. Forced the venue photographer or the person taking photos that night on their nice camera to come take some photos of Tuna, just kind of sitting on the couch, and then we peer pressured him into bopping. You did a couple of bops.
We got him on the dance floor for a little bit.
I bopped. I was fucking exhausted.
Yes.
Plus the dance floor. I mean, no offense, okay? Because I know it's like your friend's friend's place.
No.
Okay?
Go. No, I am gonna agree with whatever you say.
The bartender, not the bartenders. The DJ sucked.
Yeah, the DJ
there
was bad.
No one on the dance floor. Okay, I need like a lot more people on the dance floor.
It
wasn't Eric was bopping around like a lot of bopping.
Eric was bopping.
Eric was bopping.
Eric was marching
flying
around.
Eric was flying around the dance floor. Okay, there were multiple groups of people, not just women. There were multiple groups of people that came in, stayed for about 10 minutes, had a drink, and bounced.
Yep.
So I was like, I wasn't feeling it. And then finally
There's
I was
DJ.
like, you know what? It's Tom's bachelor party. I'm gonna bop a little bit. I'll do my thing,
Bop.
right? Do a little bop. But I need like more. I needed much more energy in that place.
I would have.
We killed it the first
preferred-
night though. That's why I was not. That's why I was
Yeah.
perfectly happy
Yep.
Yeah.
with posting up, having the gin and tonic, whatever the fuck thing you bought me, and sitting on the couch and being a boss, right? Acting like I was like in Breaking Bad in one of the clubs where you're just like sitting there
Right.
not doing shit.
Yeah.
Because the first
That's
night
what was
we
running
knocked
through.
it out of the park. So there you
Yeah,
go.
I would have. It would have been. That is the one thing I was like, okay, yeah, I would have liked more, but I was just feeling good, and I liked the fact that it wasn't like, I was like, I guess I'd rather have this than like.
But
we
the
can't
other thing,
move,
was that it was like very
or I
heavily.
can't go to the bar and get a drink easily. Like that was.
But like I felt like I was living in Bizarro World because if like when I looked out on the dance floor, all the guys besides us looked the same. They all
That's
were
just how
like,
people look now.
I was just like, what the fuck is going on? And then Chris comes over at like 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Okay.
People know. That's when you go
With
to the
with his notes app or
club.
whatever.
Oh my god!
And he's got pictures. He's got drawings of
Yeah.
potential ninja starting
Layouts.
placement
Yeah.
layouts.
Yeah,
And
they'd be sick.
and
They'd be sick.
he goes, "This is how this is how you play. We got a figure eight situation. we got
different
a star
variants,
situation.
yeah.
We got
An
an old."
S, the S
He was like,
one
"We got to
is
fix it
quite
over."
quite inventive,
Right, the S.
yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, I'm sitting there going like, this guy's he's played this game about 3 times. It's been a total of I think maybe 6 hours since finding out about this game, and now he's king of games.
Now he's
king of
orchestrating
ninja.
like the Olympic.
Right, I'm like,
the
this guy's
Olympic
gonna
level
next year he's
ninja.
gonna be hosting the ninja games.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's his dream. That is what he would want to do with his
That'd be
life.
sick.
So
That'd be sick.
So that dedication and that, like, yeah, I get it.
I couldn't stop thinking about
But
it.
it's so
That-
funny.
My
'Cause you
favorite,
talk
Tom,
to
is
me on
I
the
wanna
dance floor.
do the like
Look at
the
these.
one-on-ones. We just
Yeah.
have, like if there's 8 of us, there's 4 one-on-ones happening at the same time. So
Yeah.
it's just fucking hands are flying, right? When your one-on-one ends, you wait, and then when the 4 one-on-ones are done, you get a circle of 4 people for the for the
Yeah,
finals.
yeah.
But can you imagine it just fucking hands
That
ripping
was
left
just
and right?
One of 50
Hands rip.
different
That's a quote.
variations.
Hands ripping left and right.
Hands ripping.
Hands ripping left
That's
and
the
right.
official term.
Okay, the other problem that
sport.
I think we ran into in Charleston
here we go.
was when we left the bar, club, restaurant, it was tough finding
To
an
get
Uber.
a car. Yeah.
And it was still tough getting an Uber out to Folly Beach where we were. It wasn't as consistent as other places that I've been. And I don't know if that
Yes.
was because it's Charleston and it's not as big of a city as others, or because it was also St. Patty's and there were other people getting Ubers at the same time.
Sure.
as us.
It was that, and it was also where
probably
we were
combo.
going.
Where we
Like,
were
yeah.
going. A lot of drivers didn't want to go out to Folly.
Easier
Right,
to get.
so-
It was easier to get an Uber while we were in Charleston. When we were in Folly Beach, it's like, well, your Uber's going to take 20 minutes to get here at
Yeah, because
least.
they're coming from
Yeah.
downtown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, you can't order Amazon to the house we're staying at. So,
Yes,
right.
there's
Right.
not a Starbucks that was within 20
Right.
minutes. Like,
Which is kind of wild because it didn't feel like we were far away from civilization. Like it felt like
No, but
physically,
I
were we
found it to
far?
be-
No, but it was like annoying to get to, I guess.
It was
Yeah,
interesting. We hit some traffic. That I
Yeah, we
was
did.
like
We
we
did.
hit traffic when we were going into the city twice, and I was like, "What the fuck is this? Like, what is this traffic?"
Limited
Like,
infrastructure.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So went to bed. I mean, next day was pretty. I mean, I left. I was the first to go.
yeah,
Yeah.
Last
that spirit flight
last
through
to
the
get in
storm.
for last in first out. And I will say that I left a little bit earlier because I was getting worried that my flight was going to get delayed because Chris and Oz's flights were delayed, but Spirit baby,
I mean, that rain
we
came
took
in
off.
like crazy.
yeah,
it
it
was a
did.
tropical storm that had come up from the south, and it wasn't like a fucking like batten down the hatches storm, but it was
No,
enough to
but
delay flights. And like by the
not
time
Spirit,
we
though.
left, we were like, "Oh, I'm glad." We're
Yeah, Alex, when the
getting away
Uber
from
came to
it.
pick us up to take us to the house we went to like
Mm-hmm.
hang out where Tom stayed, which by the way, this guy's house was fucking nice.
Beautiful.
This place was nice. It was like torrential downpour when that Uber showed up. Luckily, the Uber pulled up right up to the fucking like the structure, so like
underneath the house.
yeah, like we were just able to
Where
go
the
from
stilts
underneath the
were and
house
shit.
right into the car, which Tom was
out of his fucking mind at that point. Like
Had done
Tom was
actual
not
shrooms at this point, not
on
just
this
the
on this
chocolate.
plane, Alex. So getting Tom into that Uber was a
Here's
nightmare for me.
so here's what happened. I initially said inside, and I think Chris was waiting downstairs. I said, I'm going to get in the Uber I'm going to get in the Uber because I felt like the Uber was going to be a much bigger car than Kenny's.
Sure.
And Kenny made a stink. He was like, oh, okay. Oh, you don't want to get in my car or whatever. I was like, I'll get in your car. Like, I don't know what.
No, but you're
is
like, I'm a
happening with
big
the
dude
Uber.
and it's a small car. Like, it's going to be more
Yeah,
comfortable for
100,
everyone.
100%.
You're like,
But
I don't
then
want to be crammed in the back.
The other thing is that Austin kept saying, like, I don't want because we were getting to someone's house because some of us were staying the night and others had like later flights and we had to check out. Fortunately,
Slash
I was
delayed.
able to push / delayed. They were even later. And I was able to get us a late checkout, but it still was like too early for some people to go like right to the airport. So we were all
I think, Chris, you could have gone straight to the airport if your flight wasn't delayed, right? If you had left at 2?
Yeah. I would have gone straight to the airport.
It would have been early, but yeah. Anyway, so we had this other house that was owned.
No, my flight was at 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's about a 45-minute drive to the airport at 2. It would have been a little early, but not terrible. All right, anyway, go on.
So this is a house that this guy and his wife own. He's was like Austin's first roommate in college. They were out of town while we were gonna get there, but they were gonna get there later that night. But they had like a code door pad, so they had said we were fine to go in. Just like they had a pool table. They were like, no getting on the pool table. They had a pool. They had a billiard room. You would have loved it, Tuna. They had a beautiful billiard room that the cats weren't allowed in. That was like really the only rule. Can you hear me? We good?
Yeah.
Your mic cut out.
Okay, sorry, my cable jangled. Austin didn't want to get there late between like one car go and then it was going to be, he wanted everyone to get there as soon as possible. And by the time your car had gotten that early, Chris, remember it's like 15, you had booked it for a time, but it was there
it did. It got there early
or something. So a lot of stuff hadn't been packed away and we were kind of like getting out the door quickly. And Kenny, there was so much shit that had to go into Kenny's car. So I was in the middle of trying to pack Kenny's car. And then Austin is calling, Oslo is the other Austin, is in that car with Chris calling to me. And it's really fucking hard to hear him over the rain. I'm like, what the fuck are you saying? He's like, get in this car. So I drop everything. I'm like, fucking, I'm getting in that car. And I didn't realize that this car was a 3-layer car, right? It had a front, middle, back.
Oh my god!
So I thought Oslo was sitting in the back left seat, and that Chris was like in the passenger seat.
Alex,
So
you should know the back left seat is open. The door
is open.
The door is wide open for him. One door is not. One door is wide open. The trunk is open. I'm screaming at Tom through the trunk, through the back of the car. Tom, come. Tom, get in the car. Tom, get in the car. Don't bring your bags. Tom, don't bring your bags. No, put the bag down. Tom, put the bag down.
Oh, boy.
And then they close the garage, the door to the trunk. And I'm like, fine, just bring the bag in through the door. Bring the bag in through the door. Don't go to now he's at the trunk trying to open the trunk. He's yelling to the guy at the car. Oh, can you open the trunk? And I said, Tom, just the door is open. So then he goes, oh, okay. Walks around to the right door that I'm at, which is closed. Not the door that is open on the left.
Oh no.
And then Tom just like sees me and I'm like, go around to the other side. I said to the driver,
I'm already in the air.
I went, I'm sorry. My friend is really dumb.
Crazy for your life.
Oh, dude, we took off that turbulence was something.
Can we do a cut to what is happening with you around this time? So did you have turbulence going out?
Oh, big time. Oh, big time turbulence. Oh yeah, we had big time turbulence going up.
Were you worried at any point? Were you like, oh
no, because I've never really heard of a plane going down because of intense turbulence. Like maybe like where like there's an air pocket, I've heard of planes going down, but I'm like, it's gonna suck. And the seat sucks. And I paid for of course I'm not upgrading, I'm not doing any of that. So I'm in like the smallest seat bucket possible. I'm sitting basically on a wood plank. I mean, it was awful.
Well,
It was awful.
I texted Chris later, and I was like, "How the mighty have fallen, Tuna, from the bougie apartment." Like I was like, this is just another nail in the coffin of why you can't have a kid, because you'll be 1 minute you have money for the bougie apartment in LA, no problem, I'm just gonna pay for it, to I have to fly Spirit in a torrential storm, otherwise my kid doesn't get to eat. Okay,
Yeah.
so you're bracing for, it's like the movie Airplane. Okay, cut back to us. Yeah, I couldn't hear. The problem is that multiple
The rain was
people,
loud. There was a lot of
I
rain.
could not hear what you were
Yeah.
saying. So Chris was like, I was screaming at you. I was like, I couldn't hear any of that. Anyway,
You were also pretty fucked
I
up.
was also fucked up. I was in the car. We're in the car. We're driving across the
Jesus
bridge, and I kind of
Christ.
have my arm like up, leaning against the window. So it's like my hand is on the handrest, and my elbow is on the where the window is. So it's like upside down, and I'm just looking out the window, but out of the periphery of my eye, my arm looked far too long, and I like almost had a freak out, and I had to like hide my arm from my periphery. So we get to this house. It's a beautiful house in like this little suburb of downtown Charleston. There were these two
It felt like a
beautiful
Long
cats.
Island house, Alex.
Okay.
It was
It
just
did.
like felt like out of nowhere. It felt like I was in like the suburbs of Long Island, like a little bit further east, where it was like slightly less dense.
Hmm.
And we get there. Two beautiful cats, Sir Paul McCartney.
Beautiful
ginger.
cats, very friendly.
Do you remember the other cat's name?
No, I don't.
I forget. Did you know that the black cat was actually the mum of the ginger? Were you there?
I mean,
when
that
they
makes sense.
explained
Yeah.
Were you there when they got there, or you'd left by that point?
No, I was gone
Bonus.
before they.
Oh, okay.
Whoever lived there arrived. Yeah.
Yeah. So, so we just hung out, played some pool on this beautiful billiard table.
Yeah.
Like
Had red green.
some of the smoothest pool playing I've ever had, which was awesome.
I had that triple. I had that boom, boom, boom.
Chris there was one where he was like, "Shit, were you a child prodigy at this?"
I looked up, because I felt like I was holding it awkwardly, so I looked it up, and then after I looked up like how to
cue?
hold the pool
Okay,
cue, because
sure.
I just hadn't done it in so
How do boats
long.
float?
Kenny came over and he's like, "You're still not doing it right." I was like, "I don't know, I'm gonna just try it," and then I went boom, 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 and then Kenny was like, "Maybe I should
Okay.
shut up," because he hadn't gotten any in yet.
It was a good crew. I think at this, yeah. Kenny leaves soon in Oslo. At this point, his flight has been outright canceled.
Yeah,
And so he was getting a late train back, but this time he wasn't booking one with a
sleeper and everything.
Yeah, he was just getting a seat.
Oh no! For
yeah.
17 hours, he had a seat for seven.
It's
Oh,
not
fuck
17
that.
hours. It's like 12 hours, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, I think the non-sleeper Alex, I think, is a lot faster. I think
did
it's
they
like
get a
the more
thing, like
direct.
Stella
The
or
sleeper, I
whatever?
think,
Yeah,
is a
probably
longer.
the Acela, but like, damn,
Yeah.
12 hours sitting in a fucking chair. God damn.
I mean, that's like it's almost it's like my plane flights.
We watched that Bobby Fingers. That was
I
really
love Bobby
good.
Fingers.
Yeah, so there's this guy Bobby Fingers Tuna. He's like a artist, a multimedia artist.
Okay.
You're just watching on YouTube, and he makes dioramas, highly detailed, highly intricate dioramas of celebrities in their worst moments. So
Okay.
They're incredible, Alex.
But it's a
and they're
joke.
hilarious.
And there's inserts, and it's a whole comedy bit, but it's a surround. So it initially starts with him molding the clay to like make the figurines and stuff, and he's just like talking about like making jokes and overlaying, explaining what he's doing. And then there's really smart bits. Go look. He only has like 7 videos because they take so long to make. He posts about 2 a year apparently. And the one we watched was when Michael Jackson's hair caught on fire at the Pepsi commercial, which I didn't know about. Much like I didn't know about how boats float, I didn't know that Michael Jackson suffered this injury that kind of led to him being on drugs, which led to him like going psycho. But the video is phenomenal and really funny. Go look it up. It's called Bobby Fingers. He does one where it's Mel Gibson during his arrest when he like did the anti-Semitic rant. There's another one. There's a Joe Rogan one, so he does the Joe Rogan Diorama podcast. Joe Rogan podcast Diorama, very cool. And then yeah, I guess you leave at this point, Chris, soon after.
Yeah.
Did you get food from the barbecue place?
No.
Oh, okay. So you had left. We ate barbecue food, which was fucking phenomenal. But your trip back ended up being quite an ordeal. So what happened to you?
So we're supposed to leave 5:45. Gets delayed an hour. Fine. Whatever. Right.
And you were originally going to have one stop in Atlanta, which was the same coming in. Is that correct?
Yeah. And the stop in Atlanta was like a 3-hour stop. So like, whatever. Right. Like, fuck it. Like, okay, who cares? Who cares if I have a delay by an hour? Because it doesn't matter. I have a 3-hour wait anyway for my layover. So then when I get there, I still have like an hour 50. I have like 2 hours or whatever, I guess, when I landed.
So you only got delayed by an hour. You didn't get any
right. So I
additional.
had just under 2 hours when I landed. So I was like, I'm gonna probably maybe try and find somewhere to go eat food and get like a nice meal or something. So I'm pretty hungry. And there's this like really nice like Japanese restaurant there.
This is at the Atlanta airport.
Yeah, but there's like a 30-minute wait. And so I was like, I put my name down in case it was like faster. And then while I'm waiting, flight gets delayed another hour. So now the Atlanta flight's delayed an hour. So now it's 10:40 the Atlanta flight. So now it means I'm getting into LA at 1 a.m., which sucks, right? Instead of like before I was getting in at midnight at least. So it's like, all right, I'll be home by 1. Now it's like I'm getting in at 1. I'm going to be home at 2. That kind of blows. Hey, I'll go eat food now, right? So I go to the Japanese place. Pretty pricey. You know, it's in an airport and it's nice.
Okay.
But I said, fuck it. By the way, a wild thing happens at this restaurant. It was a long wait, and the restaurant kitchen closed at 10:30. And at this point, like, if I kept waiting for an actual seat inside, it would have been longer. But they did have seating outside, which is like a little lame because you're in like the concourse, so it's like loud. And it's like you're eating like at this expensive place while everyone's just like walking. Like it's just weird. It's a little awkward. But I was like, I'm hungry. I want to eat. I'll do it. I'll sit here. And then a couple other people that were waiting like with me, like were also sitting down. I get my food. I decide I need to sleep on this plane because I did not sleep on the plane on the way because I had bad turbulence and I was exhausted. That's why it was really good when you guys weren't there and I could take my time to just like shower and like wake myself up. Because I felt like shit when I got there. So I was like, you know what?
Oh, I see. Got 2.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So it's like, I'm going to get some sake. I'm going to get drunk and then I will fall asleep on the
Pass
plane.
out. Yeah. Good
so
idea.
I drink 2 sakes, get pretty drunk.
Hell yeah.
Pretty
okay.
drunk.
Which is
while
really
I'm finishing
funny
my meal,
what
by the way.
happens next.
While I'm finishing my meal, I just start hearing someone loudly on their phone. And I turn around and some guy has just sat down and is taking a call. And he's just sat down at a table as some other woman who was also waiting for a table by herself. And I turn around and I notice everyone is looking at him. And it's like some people are like concerned. Other people are like laughing. The woman is like this. She's sitting back like not knowing because she doesn't know this man. No one knows this man. And he is just taking a call. And I couldn't tell if he was actually on the phone or if he was crazy. And he's just talking and he is unaware for like 5 minutes until he eventually turns and sees that he's sitting at a table with that he just sat down with some woman. And now he's just narrating out loud. He goes, "Oh my God, I sat down at a table where some woman is. I'm so sorry, man." It was the weirdest.
What was he talking about?
Tom, I don't know.
The context wasn't. Oh, okay.
Like at one point he was like, "I'm not about that. You know what I'm about." So I told it. So I don't know what was going on in that conversation. Tom.
Okay.
It was bizarre. Okay. It was absolutely bizarre. I finished my food and I left. And when I left, I looked at the woman. I was like, "Good luck." I just walked the fuck out of there. Big mistake getting drunk because waiting to get on the plane. They're at start boarding. It's 11 o'clock now, so I was pushing another 30 minutes. And they tell us over the loudspeaker, they were like, "Our pilot has been flying a really long time."
and the pilot's only allowed to fly so long.
Oh,
So
yeah.
everyone has to get on the plane as fast as possible. They're like, if you have more than 2 bags, you have to consolidate now or give it to us because we do not have time to waste time loading the plane. So I load the plane as fast as possible, which by the way, apparently they were sanitizing it. So it makes me think someone was like throwing up or something on the plane earlier, which is why it was delayed. We got on the plane. We load on the plane. We're starting to move on the taxi. The plane is driving. And then the plane stops moving. Pilot comes on. He goes, I am trying to get clearance to take off, but I'm being told that I may or may not be allowed to because I may have flied the maximum number of hours I'm allowed to fly. He goes, if I'm able to get into the air and take off before they tell me I'm not allowed to fly anymore, then we're good. Because I guess it's like once they're in flight, they're in flight. But at a certain point, they're not allowed to take off anymore. And we were like running up against it. 2 minutes later, he's like, I really hate to do this, but we are going to have to deboard the plane. And we're going to have to get to a new flight, which means our flight is now canceled.
Yeah.
And the next flight they're
You're
offering
on
us
the
is
plane.
at 10 a.m. the next day.
Yeah.
I am not going to like a hotel and dealing with this, right? Because now it's like 11:15 at night.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I'm getting into LA. So I find American has a flight into Burbank, which is great. It's 10 minutes from my house, so I don't have to deal with LAX. But it leaves at 5 a.m. It starts boarding at 4:40. I'm now drunk. It's like 11:30 at night. I'm off the plane. I need to stay awake until 4:40 a.m. That was one of the most challenging things I have. The amount of times I started just falling asleep, like sitting upright.
Yeah.
So I would just get up and start walking around the concourse. I found a good spot near like a family bathroom and like my new terminal's in a construction zone. I get over there, the alarm's going off. There's fucking people sawing and shit. It was awful. And what's great is also not a direct flight. So I was now getting in at a beautiful 9 a.m. at least to Burbank. But
Right, because you had to fly to Arizona.
yeah. And so I flew into Phoenix and then from Phoenix to LAX, which is at least only like an hour 10. But yeah, I had yet another layover, which that layover
What was
was
the time
tight.
difference?
That layover was
Okay.
tight. I got
Really?
off the plane and I had 20 minutes. They were by the time I got off the plane, they were boarding like 5 minutes later. So it was the other side of the airport, so I had to I was like fucking I at least slept though. I slept on the
Okay.
flight from
Okay.
that because I was falling asleep sitting up and everything, and I was able to
Yeah.
get a nice seat on the flight to Phoenix. It was also cheaper. Ended up getting it was like a $550 flight back originally that I canceled, so I got that refund. Thank you, last administration for that new law for canceled flights and stuff. They have to give you like full refund if they cancel a flight. And this one was like $100 less. So that was nice. And I got a pretty good seat. I was in like the exit row that like the usually like the stewardesses and stuff like would sit in.
Yes.
So it's like a lot of extra room and usually no one sits there. So I was on the window seat, which was nice. I could lay against the window. A lot of leg room in front of me. No one in the middle seat, and then stewardess on the aisle. So it was like empty. I passed out on that. So I got my sleep. Flight to Burbank was fine. But man, that 5 hours was a nightmare. It was a nightmare. It was so hard to not fall asleep during that time in the airport. That sucked. It sucked.
Yeah.
All right. Alex and I played Split Fiction.
Yep. Play a little more. Got better. Got better from our
it's getting
first
better.
impressions.
It's getting better.
getting better.
We
What level
finished
you on?
the
Yeah.
fantasy. We finished the Ice King, so now we've got
okay.
guns.
You're still very.
We got
early.
guns.
Okay. Yep.
We got.
Yep.
We did a couple side quests. I think maybe one of the more fun side quests we did. We had like a little race.
The flying race.
Yeah. What was the other
Yeah.
one? What was the other fantasy side quest? I feel like we did 2 today.
Oh, the cats. You had to ring up the cats.
Oh,
but it
the
was a toy
cats.
box that we could like have a wand and
Yes, I
Mix
liked the
potions.
cats.
That one's cool. The design of that is cool. Very like very obviously referencing Harry Potter. Did you
Yes.
do all of the little?
We did everything.
We did everything.
Yeah, that was really. There are basically multiple stations where you can do.
Yeah.
Like one of them is like you grab a wand and turn people
Literally
into
just like that.
things, or make a recipe.
The recipe one, if you do all the recipes, you get an achievement.
Fuck yeah.
That was a really good
cool-
one. We like that a
really
lot.
sick.
I'm into
Yeah.
it. I'm excited to
Yeah.
play more tomorrow. I don't know how much Alex can play, but I have a lot of time to play tomorrow.
Very nice.
Yeah, I have time.
And I mean, the biggest thing is we need to get these boys into VR. We need more Walkabout friends.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, got to get more people.
We're gonna try and make
Dolphin.
it work because that was the best thing about the weekend was like
Because we might have
You know,
got more people for Walkabout Minigolf.
because everyone got along so well, and I think
true.
everyone it was really fun to watch. Like it wasn't just, although I think you guys and Oslo like did kind of travel as a group at points, it was the thing of like I'd look over and I'd be like, oh, everyone is able to speak to everyone else. Like it was always like a different mix of like who's hanging out with who. I didn't feel like anyone wasn't able to. And I think by the time everyone left, we were all like, oh, the wedding's going to be so much more fun now that we've had this.
Oh,
Which I guess
100%.
is why
100%.
you have a bachelor party. So that's great.
Yeah, the night at the end of the night out in the city, Alex, Tom and Kenny and I went out to the beach at night, and that was fucking
I forgot
sick.
about that. Like
That was
literally in
so
the middle
sick.
of the
I
night.
went straight to bed.
It was
Yeah.
awesome,
Yeah.
though. That was incredible.
Yeah, that was wild.
Lake Beach was nice.
Because
Yeah,
the
late time beach
moon we had a full moon, so like it was and the other thing is that the town I don't necessarily know if it was happening, but it was very dark.
Yeah,
it
was
didn't have a lot of light,
very dark.
and it's because
Yeah.
of the turtles migration. So especially in the summer when the migration is happening, people are meant to like turn off all their lights, or at least they have like floor to ceiling like blackout blinds to to prevent the light, because the turtles get confused. And so because of that, it's very dark out there, but under a full moon, like it is illuminated.
It was
like,
awesome.
The water is like white. Like it was insane to look at, especially after the night we had. And the
Everything looked like it was
photos
like
from-
in black and white.
Yes.
You know, it was so
Yeah.
dark that it looked like I was looking
It
at
was
black and white.
It was really freaking cool. And Kenny,
Yeah.
you guys took some really cool photos. One of my favorites is like Chris summoning the night. Like it was like fucking insane to look at.
That was sick.
Yeah, so Brooke and I have played some more Split Fiction. We have one or two 2 levels left. Game does keep getting better. I think the level we just played was maybe my favorite. I'm excited for you to get to that.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, haven't been able to spend a ton of time playing otherwise. Playing some Magic the Gathering. Brooke and I have been doing that. We've been doing the Foundations pack, which is the starter pack or whatever. Actually brought some cards, and the first day played with Oslo and Austin. And I was surprised how quickly they were able to get into it with neither that not really being any of their bags, but they were into it. It's really cool. I totally see why this has become a huge phenomenon. It does one of my favorite things that a game can do, especially like a tabletop thing, is it's easy to learn, difficult to master. The rules are very simple. The complexity comes in learning what all the cards do and how best to use them in tandem with each other. And so they were, by the end of match 2, and the other thing is that I didn't expect, game's very quick. Now you are playing the initial matches it sets you up with are like half deck size, half health. But even when you go to like a standard amount, you will be done a game in like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, unless I'm assuming if you're a pro, you can probably like drag it out. But yeah, super, super fun. But the other game I've been playing was one for work. And that was Assassin's Creed Shadows, which is, if you're listening now, out now. Long story short with this game, didn't get too far into it just because of life, as you know, had a whole weekend with the lads, another lads weekend even. But from what I have played, very much enjoy it. I'm surprised that, because going into it, I didn't really have an appetite for it. But I think the thing it does the best is it is incredibly polished. thankfully, after the delay. So it, in my opinion, is the best feeling Assassin's Creed game ever. The parkour feels the best. The assassinating feels really good. Nawe is, I'm gonna, with an asterisk, say that she is much more fun to play than Yasuke, but that is simply based on my time playing Yasuke in the preview, because he takes a long time in the game, apparently about 10 hours worth of gameplay before he unlocks in the game. And he's more the, imagine you took the previous Eivor and split her into two characters. So she had a super stealthy half and like the brutish, like, I'm going to come raid this church, right? Which is what you were doing in Valhalla. When I played Yasuke in the preview, I was like, oh, I don't like this at all. He's way too slow. He's too clumsy. Yes, he packs a punch. He's great to like switch to if you need to clear somewhere out quickly. But Nawe is the purest distillation of an assassin in Assassin's Creed I've ever played. She has plenty of awesome tools at her disposal. The grappling hook makes parkouring up the buildings where the monotonous climbs that are like you just have to keep going. It makes it all expedites that whole process. She can fully go prone. She can extinguish lights, so she can literally hide in the shadows. And then on top of that, enemy AI is the smartest I think it's ever been in the game. They are a bit harder to, and you can tweak all of these settings individually. So you can make like combat super hard. You can make stealth very hard. You can up the AI's ability to detect you. I think on the normal setting though, it's like a nice spot. If they detect you, you have to really lose the trail. Like you can't just like duck around a corner and they'll be like, where did they go? Like you really have to like lose the trail and like get away from them. And even things like if you go to assassinate them, if they catch you out of the corner of their eye, or like you try and, you know, you used to be able to like charge at someone, if you did it quick enough, you could assassinate them. Now if you do that, they will catch your hand and like prevent you from assassinating you. And if you are caught in a match with like, or a face off with like two or more people, like with Nawe, you really need to split people off. Like if you are gonna get into a sword fight, which feels really good, you have to break them up. If you have like three people surrounding you, you are gonna die quickly. And that is even on the like the standard setting. And so that's been another thing that has prevented me from getting far, because it's actually the first Assassin's Creed I feel like in a very long time that's a challenge. And so you got to get good.
You got to get good.
I really appreciate, or you just have to be more methodical. I had to be like very instinctive of like what I was doing at any time. Like, okay, I'm gonna throw the bomb and then I'm gonna assassinate this guy and then I'm gonna like duck behind here. You can't just like run in without a plan, which I feel like for so many Assassin's Creed games, especially these RPG ones, you've been able to do. Valhalla being the peak of that, with like literally it designed to be like you just fucking show up and you raid the coastal village or whatever.
Peaked with Odyssey. Odyssey was amazing.
I loved Valhalla though. I never played Odyssey. I should have.
I enjoy Valhalla. This one has what was originally called Assassin's Creed Infinite, and now it's just called the Animus Hub. So when you boot into the game, if you have the other games installed, it has like a timeline menu and you can swap between them. So you can like boot into Valhalla, you can boot into Mirage or Origins. Cool. If you don't own them, it'll just take you to the storefront. That's in the game. The fucking Animus shit, like just get it out. Not interested. The weather effects are incredible. Like the changing of the seasons really changes up the vibes. Things like snow melt in real time. So like if you're in a snowy area and the seasons start changing, it's not just like it's spring. It's like, no, it's the snow's gonna stop melting. So cool stuff.
Cool. Is it just on Game Pass? Like it's not on like a PlayStation for free or anything like that?
No. You have to buy the game. Yeah, it's not. Or if you have Ubisoft Plus, the subscription.
Just play Avowed, Tuna.
Avowed.
Yeah, I'm
free.
probably not
got
gonna.
It's great.
yeah, I'm probably not going. I'm probably gonna put a pause on Shadows because I think it's a great Assassin's game, and I think that anyone who likes Assassin's Creed games is gonna really enjoy this. I think it's one of the best. I honestly think when all is said and done, it might be like top 3 for me, much like the Boy and the Heron was. I don't think it's so good that if you weren't an Assassin's Creed fan, you're going to.
But
you know,
I am an
be like,
Assassin's Creed
it's going to
fan.
change. I know, so I think you'll enjoy it. I think you'll enjoy
I'm
it.
in.
But we gave it an 8 at work, and I would probably agree with that. So I'm probably going to put it down and get back to it. It's maybe in the future, but I'd rather go back and finish Avowed. So that's the plan.
All right.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
that's been my gaming.
Sick.
Sick biscuits.
Hear that?
No.
Oh, wait, you don't?
No. Why does my keyboard not work? Fuck this. Oh, okay.
I mean, we're running up on 2
No,
hours.
I agree. No, I'm good. I agree.
I'm good.
It was a big
I
weekend.
agree.
That was what we were here to
Big
talk
weekend.
about today.
Big weekend.
Big
We also didn't play a lot of
weekend.
games because we were
No, I'm dude.
drinking a
don't-
game.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
played
No
Ninja, we
complaints.
played Smash,
No one's complaining.
No complaints.
No one
Next
is
week-
complaining, but we're not.
Split Fiction. Next week, Tom, you gotta figure out how to get this guy a camera.
I'll mail it to him.
All right, you'll mail it to him. We're gonna start challenges and stuff. We're gonna talk about that in a minute during the post show. But until then, stay unranked.
Suck it, tropical storms.